There are a number of reasons that you may want to export the soundtrack from your animatic. The most common reason would be to supply the animators with the audio they need to work with. Now, if the animators are working in one of Toon Boom's animation softwares like Animate Pro or Harmony, the audio files will be exported automatically and included in the Animate or Harmony files. However, if the animators are using another animation program, such as some CG program or Flash, they'll need the voice track exported to them to be able to work from. Let's take a look at exporting our voice track. Now, keeping your voice tracks separated and organized is going to save you a lot of time. If you remember, we talked about in another one of our videos that I like to keep my voice tracks on 1 and 2, my sound effects at least on 3 and 4, in this case also have it on track 5, and I keep my music on the last couple tracks. This allows me to export very easily my audio. So for instance, if I've got all my voices on 1 and 2, when I export my soundtrack for the animators, my voices, I can just mute all the other tracks and all they will get are the voices. Keeps it really clean without sound effects and music behind it, makes it easier for the animators to work and do proper lip sync. Right now, let's keep them all turned on so you can see what happens on one of our export options. So let's go to File, Export, and Soundtrack. All right. So destination path, let's open that up first. Again, Toon Boom and Storyboard Pro sets up a number of folders automatically in our master folder. I added the soundtrack folder because that's where I want my audio files to go. So I put that in. Let's select that. File pattern. Now this is the default, and we're going to keep that. The %T is the project title, -A for audio, and then %N is the soundtrack number. In other words, 1 for track 1, 2 for track 2, and 6 for track 6, and so on. So we're just going to keep that for now. Options, process soundtracks individually, which means it's going to give me a soundtrack for 1, for 2, for 3, and so on. Or I can say merge all soundtracks, and everything that's not muted will come out in one file. So let's keep it individually for now. Don't break sounds, which means that if we have multiple scenes, it's going to take all of them. If I break the sounds per scene, I get a separate file for each scene or each sequence. Let's just select Don't Break Sounds. Okay, rate. Again, you don't want anything less than 22.05. For quality, if you want CD quality or better, 44.1 or higher. 16-bit, again, is cleaner. You don't need stereo for voices. You can keep that at mono unless client is specifically asking for it. So export range, I can export the entire project. Selected scenes, and I can click on any of them or drag across and select a number of them at the same time. Or what we're going to do here is we're just going to export this current scene, the scene 11. Okay? And I want to look at the folder afterwards and see what exports. So I'm going to click on Export. There it goes, that fast. Now it exported 3 files for us, 1, 2, and 6. Well, why didn't it export 3, 4, or 5? Well, as you could see, 3, 4, and 5 had nothing in them. As far as this scene, only 1, 2, and 6. So it automatically gave us these 3 audio files. Now, in production, when I'm handing it off to my animators, I actually only want to give them 1. So I would have set it to where it would combine all of them together, and I would have just had 1 audio file, and I would have muted everything else, so they would only get and only hear the voice track. So that all went fine. Close. As you can see, planning ahead and organizing your audio tracks will make it much faster, easier, and better when you then need to export the audio for production. Those couple of minutes of planning can save you a huge amount of time later on.